Hey guys, it's Yvette, and I'm starting week 4 of the Fort Worth Fabric Studios A Day in May Mystery Quilt. And the week 4 is tulip blocks. So we're going to be making 4 tulip blocks. And they are reminding us to iron each seam after we sew them. Personally, I already do that, but I'm also, since they're recommending it, I'm also starching them after with each seam. I'm just starching them. And I've, been sort of liking the results, so I'm going to keep doing that. Okay, so first step is to take the U and the M squares, and this is like the rest of the squares, since we're at week 4 and week 5 is put your quilt together. So we're definitely in the final stretch here. And we have the U, M, F, I, G, S, and H. And these are the 2 leftover H squares from last week. So hopefully you held those aside. The first thing we're going to do is take the U and the M. And I will just kind of scooch all this over a little bit. And we are going to put them together right sides together, just like before. And I'm going to put them this way because I'm going to mark on the lighter fabric. It just makes it easier to see. And I'm going to find here it is. I have my marking tool that I just bought from Fort Worth Fabric Studio at their suggestion, and I'm just going to lay it down right diagonally down. I just want to make sure that the middle of the yellow line is right through the middle of the fabric. Okay, you guys, long day at work. Oh my goodness. Not only that, but I had to bring all the recycling down, and they take our recycling every other week. And so by the time 2 weeks has passed, for me, I have lots of recycling. I mean, the people in this neighborhood must think that we buy the entire internet every month, because I always have loads of boxes out there for recycling. It's really crazy. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that this is all even. And then once it looks really good, I'm going to take some Wonder Clips and just going to clip the 4 sides. I just want to make sure it's not going to move around, and I don't have to be super careful with carrying them over to the machine. I can just pick them up and go, and we're good. And the other thing, you guys are going to crack up laughing. I have just spent, because I have so much time on my hands, I have just spent like 30 minutes looking for small tattoos. My sister and her family are coming over this summer in June, and she and I have decided that we're going to get small sister tattoos. It doesn't have to, it's probably not going to say, like, sister or something. But we're thinking about, like, some sort of heart. And so I've just been sitting there, on Pinterest for, like, a half hour. Searching tattoos because, I got so much time to be doing that. I was just procrastinating as usual. Well, actually, lately I have not been procrastinating very much, so that's pretty good. And Lord have mercy, I'm telling you. Okay, so here we go. These 2 lines that I have drawn on each of these squares, I'm going to go and sew up and down each one. I'm going to come back with you guys, and we're going to divide them down the middle, and then there's another step that we have right after that, which is a little interesting. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I have sewed all these lines, and we are ready to cut these in half. So I am just going to lay my ruler with the 1/4 inch on the line that I drew. And, oh, there's my rotary cutter. Okay, 2 of those. Okay. Okay, so I have these cut. I'm going to go and press the seams toward the green. So in order to do that, I just want to first press the seam just to close up all the holes, and then I want to make sure that the green is up facing me, because whatever fabric is facing you is the direction that you are pressing. So then I will just flip this over, press it out, and then I'll come back because we have another step. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I have pressed these 4 squares, and now they want us to cut it in half, like right down the middle. Yep, cut diagonally, corner to corner, across the seam. You'll now have 4 sets with okay. 4 sets. Okay. I'm sitting there going, okay. So basically I am just going to make sure I have, and I just want to, well, I should have done this first. I'm just sort of putting one of the lines from the ruler across the seam, and oh geez, somebody is trying to do a hairball. Who is that? Sammy's been doing a lot of hairballs lately, but she doesn't ever get one out. Poor little thing. Okay, so that's one. Well, it's a set. Okay, let's do the second one. Poor little sweetheart. She's trying so hard to get it out. And this has been like a couple, 2 or 3 days now. She's been trying to get that darn hairball out. And that looks okay. It's a little bit crooked, but that's okay. We'll somehow get them to match up. Okay, so now we've got 2 sets. You know, it's interesting because, like, when they're having little hairballs, makes me want to just go over and fix it for them, you know? Like, I just want to make them feel better and all of that. But you just can't, you know? And they're uncomfortable with that. They would rather just be left alone. So, I try to. That's the third one. And one more. Do 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 do. Just see how close we are. They've been off a little bit, but I'm not worried too much. As long as they're pretty close. Okay. So now we have the 4 sets. I'm going to leave those right there. Okay, I think they want us to separate them. I'm not sure, but it says 4 sets with green on the left side. I don't think it means 4 sets. I think it means 4 triangles with the green on the left, and then another 4 triangles with the green on the right. Okay, so I'm just going to set those like that, and let's go to number 2. Number 2 says, take an eye triangle. Let me move these over here. Where can I put them? Over here. Okay. Take the eye triangle and finger press right sides together to mark the center. Okay. Okay. Now let me think about this. They're going to be right sides together. I don't think it's going to matter. Okay, so I'm just going to right sides together, fold it in half, and I just want to make sure it looks pretty good. That looks pretty good right there. Right? So I've got the halfway mark. I can see it right there, and I'm supposed to take one of these. Okay, it says place I triangle and UM triangle from step 1, right sides together. Important. UM triangles must have green on the left. Okay. We're looking at them like this, and I want green on the left that way. Okay, so there we go. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to take it and I'm going to match it. So I'm going to look at my seam from the UM, and I'm going to just make sure it goes right there. I can tell that it's folded. I know you can't tell that, but whenever you have your own, you just want to make sure that that seam goes right there. And then, yeah, that looks good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is first I'm going to put a wonder clip on one side. And they are lining up good, right? Let me just... Okay, so my UM is slightly bigger, but that's because I have been scant 1/4 inch and everything, so I'm happy with it being a little bigger. At least I know that it's in the center. Okay, so I'm going to mark my 1/4 inch on this side first. And there's my... And again, I'm using the friction pen, but you do not have to. Whatever marking device you like. Or if you want no marking device, that's completely up to you. Nothing wrong with it. This is just my way. Okay, and then once I have that marked, I'm going to take my wonder clip and I'm going to move it to the other side. And then I will complete the line. I can tell it moved a little bit. Okay. Because the little purple is sticking out the bottom. We don't want that to happen. That would be terrible. You guys hear Sammy licking? She's a loud licker, I'm telling you. I love her. Talking about you, boo. My little honey bun. Well, the little hairball didn't come up, but at least she's stopped having her little hacking thing. Okay, so I won't do this all on camera. Basically, we're going to do each of these so that we will have 4 that we are going to sew. And what I'm going to do is when I go over to the sewing machine, I'm going to sew this seam. And then I'm going to press it open, and I'll come back and we'll go to the next step. Okay, so I'm back, and here are the first 4 squares that I have that have been trimmed down to 5.5 inches. So I will scooch those aside for now. And now we're moving on to taking the G triangles, and we're going to attach those to the remaining triangles we have left that we made. So let me just kind of take one of each. Okay. And so we're going to join these together like this, which means we'll fold them right sides together. I personally will mark a 1/4 inch seam, and I'm going to do that on all of them. I'm going to head over to the sewing machine, connect those together. I will press them open. I will trim them to 5.5 inch squares, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back, and here are the 4 squares that I just made up. These are the ones that I made up before that. So we've got these 2 different squares that were made up, and I'm going to put those aside now because we are on to step 4. And step 4 has us taking the F squares and those other 2 H squares from week 3, and we are going to put them right sides together. Okay, and then we are going to draw 2 lines. I'm going to do it on the lighter fabric here, and I'm using this little 1/4 inch ruler here. And I'm putting the center of the line straight down the middle of the triangle. Trying to get it exactly in the middle, but there we go. Now I can see them both sides. Okay, and then all you have to do, if you're using a ruler like this, is you're going to draw a line on either side. And these are your stitch lines. I use a friction pen. You can use whatever marking device you'd like. Okay, and I'm going to do the other one. Now, if you don't have one of these marking devices, or one of these rulers like this, what you can do is mark a line straight down the middle, and then mark 2 more lines 1/4 inch on either side of that line. That's basically all we're doing here. Okay, once I have them right sides together, I'm just going to make sure that they are even on all sides. And then I personally like to just put a little wonder clip on the 4 sides. And this is just so that I can carry my pieces around and not have to worry about them coming apart. And I don't have to keep placing them while I'm at the machine. I can just not have to worry about it. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go over to the machine. I'm going to sew these 4 lines, and I'll come right back. We'll separate them and then get ready for pressing. Okay, so I have these 2 squares, and I'm going to go ahead and separate them right down the middle. Just going to put my 1/4 inch line right where on my sew line. And I'll go right down the middle there. Okay, cut your drawn line, press seams toward the dark floral. Okay, so we are going to press toward this dark floral, which means I'm going to flip these over, and I'm going to go over to the ironing board. I'm going to press this stitch line, and that's just to close up all the holes. Anytime you sew into any piece of fabric, you are poking hundreds of little holes in it, and by applying heat, it just kind of closes up the fabric and holds the stitch a lot better. So we'll do that first, and then I will fold it over, hold it just a little bit, and I'm going to press it that way. And just remember that whichever fabric you want to press toward, you want that fabric on the top. If it's facing you, then you know that you're pressing toward that fabric. So I'm going to go and do all my pressing, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I am here with the squares that I have just sewed together, separated, and then pressed. So I'm ready to trim them down to 5.5-inch squares. And let's see, I'm going to take the first one, and I want to have my darker fabric, which is the way that I pressed, to the top right, and the other fabric to the bottom left, and I'll have the Block Lock logo over the bottom. And then this little shaded area right here, if you feel it in the back, it's got these grooves. And so when you push it up against a seam, which is a regular fold over seam and not one that's pressed open, it will catch itself. So if I go to push, it's not going to go anywhere because it's butting up against this seam. Okay, so we're cutting them down to 5.5-inch squares, which means that it's going to get cut down to here. So I want to be able to cut pieces off of all four sides. In order to do that, when I'm cutting the first, making the first couple of cuts, I need to make sure that my 5.5-inch line has fabric beyond it, so that there's more fabric that needs to be trimmed off. That way when I flip it around, I still have fabric that needs to be trimmed off. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the first cut. I'm just going to rotate this. Okay, I just kind of push those to the side, and then I can pull it down to the 5.5-inch line, and there we have it. And I will just rotate, make sure I got that right, and trim. Okay. Then I can take the first one, set it aside, and I'll take the second one. We'll do the same thing, block lock to the bottom. Oh, you guys, it's been a pretty crazy couple of weeks because I've been having lots of problems with my computer, and I know I had kind of talked briefly about it before, and I've been trying lots and lots of things on the phone with Apple, and it finally got to a point where, I don't know if you guys noticed, I know I had a post on Facebook, block lock to the bottom, asking me, you know, saying, hey, I hadn't seen you in a while, it's been like 4 days, no videos. I had so much trouble. I couldn't It was problems with the internet, problems with, which caused problems with editing, caused lots and lots of problems. And so finally, on Friday, I took my computer to the Apple store, and I was like, let's just wipe it. Because I don't know, I had, you know, at that point, it was like we didn't know what was going on. We were trying everything, and it was taking so long, and I'm thinking, I can't keep, you know, try this, try this, try this, try this, and nothing will work. I just said, you know what? Just wipe it. And so, knock on wood, or whatever else you believe in, it's been okay so far. I had to load a lot of stuff back on and do some updating and stuff like that, but I think once I get over that hump, I was actually able to edit and post last night, so that was good. You guys should have gotten one video last night. And yeah, so fingers and everything else crossed. Oh, it's been kind of crazy, I have to tell you. Computers are supposed to help us out. I still don't know why it did that or what happened. I don't know. I thought that it was due to the software update that they had, because right about that time is when it started. But I'm starting to think that's not really what happened, because and I think that they think that too, but they're not, you know, they don't want to make it sound like something I did. I really don't think it's something I did. If anything, I think it might have been, I don't know, a malicious thing, like, you know, internet kind of thing. I'm not really sure, but I think we've solved the problem. So, I mean, I was at a point, I was about to buy a new computer. I was like, I can't do this. This is crazy. This is my life. Oh gosh, it was pretty crazy. But anyway, hopefully that's done. So, now here we go. I have those 4 squares all trimmed up to 5.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to now put those aside with these others. And let's move on to number 5. I'm sorry, Jelly Bean. Jelly Bean is napping. If I can get it around to him, I don't know, on his very fur-covered blanket. Okay, so number 5. Ooh, we're in the home stretch. Okay, assemble and stitch your blocks as shown to create a finished tulip block. Okay, so looks like we have this block up here, and then we have this block there, and then we're going to take our S blocks, which we hadn't pulled off yet, and we're going to put an S block here. So then that goes like that. And then like this. Okay. So that's the block that we're going to be making, and we're making 4 of these. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to stitch the 2 top ones together and the 2 bottom ones together. And so we'll basically just flip them over, right sides together. I'm going to mark down both of these squares only because that's what I do. So if you don't mark or whatever, that's okay. We're doing 1/4 inch seams. Although I have to say, I've been just doing 1/8 inch seams. I feel more comfortable with it. I would much rather that my block is bigger than it's supposed to be so I can cut it down, rather than it be too small and then I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? So that's what I've been doing. You absolutely do not have to do that. That just makes me more comfortable. So I will do that with all 4 blocks. I'll put them all together and do all of those attachments. Let me just put them in their areas. Oh, Okay, so that one will go there, and this one will go here, and all of these will go there, and boom. Okay, so now I'm ready. I'm just gonna do all my marking and my sewing, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I have done all of my sewing and pressing, and now you can see that I have the bottom pieces, which are ready to go, and also the top pieces, which are ready to go. So I am going to be combining them, top and bottom, by flipping over and marking a 1/4 inch and sewing them together. And yeah, so once I have that done, I'm just going to press them, and then I'll come back and show you the finished block. And then after that, we have finished all our blocks. The only thing we have left is to put them all together tomorrow on Monday. So I'll be right back with the finished block. Alrighty, so this is the final block that I have put together. So we have the 4 squares that make this one block. This is our tulip block. And so I have this one. And where did I put the others? Oh, here they are. And then we have this block. And we have this block. Is that, are those all the same? Yeah, those are all the same. And yep, that was it, because we had, those were the ones we were in the process of. Okay, so those are all our blocks, and tomorrow we're going to get the final link together to put them all together and finish our mystery quilt. So very excited. I hope you guys are all caught up. If not, no big deal. These videos are not going anywhere, so if you need any help, you can always come back and check them out. And yeah, so I can't wait to see you guys after tomorrow. I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to finish up, but I will get it done as soon as I can. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!